Hello friends, today we are working on a new skill for me and something that's actually been a little bit scary. So I am putting some holes in the mast and using our die and tap set for the first time ever. So we have this mast car on our mast that goes up and down and allows us to hook on our whisker pole for when we need to pull out one of our head sails. So there is a screw hole as we come down here, right there, that prevents the mast car from going down into this cutout, which is how you remove the mast car for doing service or replacement. The screw that was in here was not only a square head, it was also corroded and bent. So we're going to replace that bolt with well, we're going to replace the screw that was in there with a bolt. So I needed to tap this hole, which is where you cut a thread into the actual mast itself, because we can't get in there and put a nut in. So we basically am turning the mast into a nut to hold the bolt. Now you may remember from our tow rail video, I'm going to put a little link here, that when you have dissimilar metals like the aluminum that's in the mast and the stainless that's in the screws, you have to separate them in some way. So in this case, we're going to be using vinyl washers to separate the head, and we're going to be using Teflon gel, T45, to mechanically isolate the threads. The other thing we're going to do is install these Spinlock brakes into the control lines to make it a little bit safer, so we can get the mast car exactly where we want it positioned on the mast. Okay, so this is the screw we're going to put into the hole to be the stop for the mast car. Basically the head of the screw will keep it from going down into that release area. So to protect the mast from the head of the screw, we're going to be adding a vinyl washer. And to protect the threads, we're going to be adding Tef45, which is corrosion protectant, is an anti-seize, and it helps to keep the two metals from touching. Okay, so now that we've installed this one, the next one we're going to die and tap, and we're going to start from the very beginning. So the first thing we need to do is mark our holes using the template. The base of the Spinlock comes with this template. So we're going to put this one roughly in the same position as the one we already installed. So we'll get it on about the same height and in the same plane. Now the first step is we need to put ourselves a mark in the middle so the drill bit has somewhere to hold to. So we're going to use our punch to mark the center of this hole. Right there. Add a little bit of drilling oil. I'm gonna change the angle and see if we can get you a better view. For the second punch, we want to make sure we're dead center. So I like putting the template back up. We're adapting a 1024 screw. We're using a 5/32 bit. It's based on the die and tap table that we got with the set. Now for the die and tap set, we're going to be using a 1024 because that's the thread pitch of the screws we're using. We're using number 10 screws with a 24 pitch. So I will be using the Tap Magic fluid, but any sort of cutting fluid will be fine. And then in the center parts, I will be adding some white lithium grease to catch any of the shavings that are coming out. What we'll do is we'll put this in, and we'll go just a little bit at a time, and we'll back it out, clean it out, add more of the oil and the grease, and then we'll keep going until we're all the way through, until we have a good thread all the way through. And that's just to get those shavings out so you don't accidentally damage your tapped hole. I'm not an expert at this. This is actually only the 4th and 5th hole I've ever tapped. But I'm going to put this in sped up time so you can kind of watch along. Okay, so we're going to go back to real time just so you can kind of see how we get this started and just get a feel for it. What we're basically going to do is just sort of ease it in until we can kind of feel the threads cutting. We want to keep it very even. We just sort of work it forwards and then backwards. Once we've made about a turn and a half, we'll want to back it out completely and get the shavings cleaned off. You can kind of feel when it's cutting. There we go, we're making some cuts now, so we'll make about a turn there, and we're going to back it out now, clean it off, and start over fresh. And you can see we've got metal shavings. Let's see here. Okay, it's a little hard to see, but just above that white grease you can see some gray material. That's the aluminum shavings from the mast that we're going to clean out because we don't want those getting into our threads and causing damage to the threads. We can see all the metal, so that's why I want to make sure we clean that out regularly. All those little metal shavings, they can clog up the threads and cause issues down the road. So make sure we're cleaning that every couple turns. Okay, I'm going to cut the other one and then we'll come back. Okay, so we've now got the second hole cut. Loosen this and take it out by hand. So now we gotta clean the grease out because we don't want the grease interfering with the Tefla anti-seize. So I'm going to be using some foaming battery contact cleaner so it can kind of clean that out, blow it out real good after we wipe it down. We've got nice clean threads, so now we're going to prep for the other Spinlock. Okay, so we're going to follow the same protocol as before. We're going to add the TEF45 into the hole, then into the screw, and then we're going to put the Spinlock on. Okay, so now they're both installed. So we'll run down through this one. And we'll run through the cheek block at the bottom. Then back up through this one. And we tie it off. So this is the whisker pole when it is stored on the deck. So in this position, they're both locked. But if I unlock this one, then I can now move the pole down. And if I lock this back and unlock this one, I can now move the pole up. And once I lock both, I can pull the slack out. And now it can't move up or down. And that keeps it locked in place. There is one more step and then we'll be done. Thank you all for watching. So we made this minor update to SARPy that's going to make things a lot better when we're working with the downwind pole. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you aren't a member already, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Be kind to yourself this week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.